power sector, health, education, etc. And very importantly, you can as well enjoy the conversation seamlessly online. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join us live there and enjoy an audio-visual experience to see what's going on, and you just want to experience how it's going on and how it's been done in the studio. Just join on Facebook and YouTube at Mela 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Okay, that's just an addition to that, at Mela 98.3 FM on Facebook and YouTube. And you can as well listen via and you will listen to us live on our website and via Radio Garden this beautiful morning. And you can as well join our social media community on Twitter. Mail and FM can join Twitter, and of course we are on TikTok as well. You can enjoy every content we bring to our TikTok space at every point in time. You can always enjoy that. You can follow us, and you would definitely continuously and consistently enjoy our contents we put out on that space. So you're welcome on board once ways with profound and apt analyses, brief analysis, several sides and analyses to the major and trending the Guardian newspaper to see what's going on in all of them. Hello, good morning, Fuad. Good to have you.
Good morning, Lady Mo. How are you? Definitely.
Yeah. All right. To all Muslim faithfuls, and of course to all Lente Christian faithful who are observing quite a number of headlines and major stories we have in our newspapers this morning. We start with a story from the Punch newspaper, debating on bills here and there. Some passed on the second reading, some being deliberated upon, and all of that. But according to the Punch newspaper this morning, we have and governors misplaced. Now, we have a bill that passed second reading yesterday, and the House aimed to prevent individuals or bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to reveal the requirement that qualify a person to be elected as president and vice president. It was actually sponsored by Ikenga Ugochinyere, representing Idiato North. Idiato. He has been educated up to at least university level and has earned a bachelor's degree in his chosen field of study, and Section 131 of the Principal Act, the office of the president. And of course, if the bill scales the legislative Atiku Abubakar, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and quite a handful of big wigs of the political players that have presidential or the contests really generally, depending on the position, as they are all above 60 years. And now we are election of united political parties, and the Social Democratic Party have all condemned the House of Representatives' move to impose that age limit for the offices of focusing on trivial issues while neglecting more important capacity shouldn't be age wise, that and then it also beckons the question, according to the PDP, criticizing the fact that the House, and they are not even they are not in the House, or they are not debating on having back and forth conversation about the cost of governance, corruption, security, and other people. For example, the National Public Secretary of SDP, Rufus, and speaking about the age of their president, and even people in position, that does age really matter? That is not your thought about that. So the question of is age really an important issues, and also according as well saying that there should be that why don't we make live debate compulsory for presidential candidates? Talking about of present.
Well, the House of Reps recently have been making what I can call very items on the table. I think we've been trying to touch on each of those items. Some of them very controversial. Some of them intriguing. If you were to include, you will be dead on arrival. I think one of them would have to be this idea: age of 60 will not be qualified to run for the presidency of the country. Again, as you have in the country today, will not be qualified to run in 2027. Degree for you to qualify to run for president. And I think even for other elected positions, and then structure the mind for decision making and policy making should not be the major consideration, really. for who is going to be the president of the country or anybody that wants the United States. And currently the president of the U.S., who has shown very strong will to implement all of his campaign promises, is well over 70 years, if you understand what I'm saying. So focused, so they don't run into trouble, trying to touch on too many things, and then at the end of the day achieving nothing. If you get it, yeah, some of them. If you understand what I'm saying. And one of the things I think they would have just been silent. But again, when it comes to age limit, I think age cannot be the ultimate consideration for who has the capacity. Let's even do a very quick check. The youngest of them, more that have ruled the country as governors, what have they been able to do? The youngest of them who have gotten to the position of senators, what have they been able to do? If you understand what I'm saying. Yes, I understand the aspect of having young people participate in our electoral process or holding elective positions. But I think avoid playing to the gallery, concentrate on critical matters of state and nation building, rather than touching everything and anything and then running into trouble again.
2 captures that very story. Okay, away from that, still with the Punch newspaper, we have, okay, pardon me, please, trying page of the Punch newspaper. Fuad, President Bola Tinubu on Friday would join fellow Muslims at the National Mosque in Abuja. We will also use the occasion to, thank God for preserving and supporting him in the wondrous task, according to him, of statements yesterday. And he said that the president's birthday coincides with the holy month of Ramadan and comes 2 months before his administration's second. According to the statement, the president expressed profound gratitude to Nigerians for their unwavering support and goodwill as his administration is for all citizens. And then that births, several, analyzing or seeing through the administration so far from the inception of the administration, assumption of office since May 23. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's been wrong to praise the administration on the day the man is celebrating his birthday. President is 73. And I'm sure there are well-meaning Nigerian politicians who will join him at the National Mosque in Abuja today to celebrate with him. I think he decided to make it known to God, gives him the wisdom, the strength, and capacity to always take decisions for the benefit of the larger majority of Nigerians. Please do the right thing when it comes to taking decisions for the benefit of the larger majority of Nigerians. So happy birthday, very profound decisions.
Amen. To
transform the lot of majority of Nigerians.
Amen to that.
But the bigger picture, to understand that, look, time will always tell. And whatever happens today becomes legacy tomorrow. That, look, there are people who were more intelligent, who had better outlook, who played bigger politics, but were not able to become the president of the country.
All right. Thank you so much. Trends in the papers on Mail 98.3 FM, The Sound of Lagos. We are perusing the pages on the side, giving analysis. Talking about every sector in Nigeria. We still have some, loopholes and later, or change narratives. Let's talk about the health sector. The Punch newspapers and 74 deaths recorded in 22 states. Recorded a total of 807 suspected cases of cerebrospinal. And the NCDC stated that the case fatality rate is at 9.2% as of March 26. 2025. And though the NCDC had said that it had sent its rapid response, we have affected states, Bauchi State, Ondo State, Kaduna State, Osun State, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, and Sokoto of the disease. And we have Kebbi, Katsina, and Sokoto State having recorded the highest number of suspected cases, which the NCDC had highlighted. Fuad, how do we stay proactive to all this, diseases? How do we strengthen? Hello, Fuad. Are you there?
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, I think meningitis, if I'm correct, it's what Yorubas call you. You know what they call you? I think it's a seasonal thing. I think it's a seasonal thing. I think that it comes majorly with the heat waves, with excessive land state. And I can imagine how hot most of these states are at this time of the year. And it's not a new thing. It's not just enough for us to talk about it or take the numbers, statistics, and data. What are the things that we're supposed to do? Again, this is something that would always happen because of the climate change conversation that we'll continue to have. And it's just very important that, again, the disease control agency, state government, the local governments to have responsibilities, go into our neighborhoods to sensitize people on what to do, how to take care of themselves, and ensure that there's quick response, rapid response to, people who are affected by this thing. Because, again, the number of contact with the north was when I saw cases. I saw what it can actually cause when it comes to these things. At some point, I also had serious issues with my eyes, thoughts, and all of those kinds of things that come with excessive hot weather at this time of the year. So I'm sure that a medical emergency to things like this. Again, it's just very important that we say that, especially those that come up.
Fouad, speaking of, the subnational levels, medications, proper medications, even facilities and all of that, how do you think we can, strengthen this area?
Yes, so primary causes of ailments and all of that are named in the board at that level. People can quickly access. They are supposed to be in our community. But a lot, especially in the far north, they have these primary health care centers. You get there, just the building. There are no nurses, no doctors, no medications.
Dilapidated.
So and the building does not make a health center. Yes, the building is important, but the medical personnel are the ones that can make a health center functional. So when you have a building and there are no nurses, no doctors, qualified, trained for primary health care reasons, are not available to run those facilities, it's just a complete waste of time. So it's just about funding and more commitment from government at the subnational level to ensure that these things are functional.
All right, of course, that very story on page 12, interested in more details in the Punch newspaper. And earlier, talking about the Tinubu marking 73rd birthday, you have that on page 17 in the Punch newspaper. Let's still with the Punch newspaper. Health, actually. We have reports that parents are tackling Ogun State over incisions on children's bodies. Now, there were devised incisions on their children's bodies. And according to the Punch, the parents on Tuesday reported that the incision resulted in health complications in their children. One of the affected parents named Abosede on March 2, and then she claimed to have initially noticed the mark after the son complained of persistent itching on the side of the stomach. And she explained that 3 weeks after discovering the mark, her son, when another parent whose daughter also attends the same school, reported a similar mark on our child's body. He was speaking about the discovery, saying that the mother, the second mother, named Oluwatoyin Adurogboye, noticing some changes in our 3-year-old daughter when the doctors telling them that it was due to the infection from the incision and all of that, and any wrongdoing, saying that he told them that to consider other places, that they saying that I think the first mother, the second mother, during when they went to the hospital, the daughter was able to my teacher just giving indication that okay, this happened, maybe our teacher in school and all of that. But TV footage, they said it was not working. The proprietor said it was not working. Afterwards, later, when it was reported to the police, between a particular time to a particular time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and they said, you people have an inverter, and the teacher was like, the inverter was not working at that time. This happened in school or by the teacher, or so to say. The proprietors denying that, the school denying that, and even the proprietors had not even returned the call, no response, and all of that. Fouad.
From the school to the parents, there's still a lot of questions to talk.
Right.
So if a 4 or 3-year-old had gone to school, at least I'm sure that most 3-4-year-olds don't bath themselves. I mean, back home with an incision. Incision is very same day. the parents did not know that something had happened to their children, still beats me. That's why I say there's a lot of questions to ask. Now, when they eventually discovered it, at what point, at what time? Because I read through the entire story, and it was just difficult for me to piece everything together. The incision came on the bodies of their children from the school. The school is denying. There was a back and forth with CCTV footage, denials here and there. The police has also been involved. It's just strange, really. I don't know. Because again, you can't completely exonerate the school. Why you cannot completely say again they are responsible for what has happened to the children? I think an investigation into this would help. Now that the police is involved, I think one of the parents have also even taken the matter to court.
Yes.
From the contact of the investigation.
All right, definitely we hope, because safety, you see something like this, because you used to say that in Yoruba, that Jᴏɪᴜ Lōᴅɪ parents get relaxed when their children are in school because they know that their teachers
but when they come back home, you are not relaxed.
Are more than capable.
If there's anything wrong, even in their mood. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Talkless of a whole. And most children these days are trained to talk. So even if they were threatened in school not to talk, I'm just saying, at the point where they're pulling off their clothes, maybe taking or the next morning when they're taking their bath for school. So, like I said, it's just something we have to live and see, and wait to see what eventually comes out of this issue when the investigation.
Newspaper. Quickly, just let's move ahead to the Guardian newspaper. We'll come back to take saying a thing from the Punch, saying that giving assurance that Tinubu's second term is assured. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can, he said this during the special Iftar Lent dinner organized by the Progressive Governors Forum, aimed at strengthening fellowship and deepening bonds of unity. And he was applauding Governor Hope Uzodinma led PGF for organizing the event, calling for 2027 is guaranteed for President Bola Tinubu. And this has actually been embraced with several reactions. We've been talking, some school of thought saying that this raised a lot of questions. Speaking about the credibility in our electoral exercise and the confidence. Well, it's not out of place. I would, you would agree with me that it's not out of place for, him to say that, okay, he's the party leader. Senate leader, Senate press leader, and then
the question around the electoral process, because the Senate president,
the national APC national chairman, at all
political guys, and so for anybody questioning the electoral process because of what the Senate president has said, president talking, and it's almost like a political statement to the opposition to forget about what they are trying to come to get out to do. That they understand their politics very, very well, and at that. The political gathering coming from a party leader, and he has made his own political statement. Let the opposition also make their own statement.
Sometimes back during your analysis, saying that an other school of thought are subscribing to the fact that if the kind of Senate we have now was the kind of Senate we have during Obasanjo, that probably the third term. The Senate
president, although he's the leader of the Senate, but the composition of the Senate we have now, the 10th National Assembly in particular, it's clear as daylight that this is a robust National Assembly, and even in Obasanjo's regime, it would have scaled through. The way they position themselves, what they do, what they say, the way they carry themselves, they've not shown anything different from that. They are unlike the 5th National Assembly that stood firm for national interest and ensured that any idea of a third term was killed. And that's why we always say thank you to former Senate President Kenny Amani, a wonderful man, fantastic human being that stood for the right thing at that particular period.
All right, thank you, Fawad. Of course, still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, The Sound of Lagos. Join us, www.mainlandfm.com. Still with the Guardian newspaper, we have the full lists. We got a report of deceased government has now published a list of unclaimed estates and properties belonging to 5,806 individuals who resided and died in the UK, including 58 Nigerians. And the list was released on Monday, detailing the names, date of birth, date of death, rather places of 58 Nigerians, including detailed records as mentioned above, dates of death and all of that. And also, somebody caught.
Well, it's strange to see that, and if you can own a property into Nigeria, and the list is out. So Nigerians who maybe have uncles, brothers, to see whether the name can fit into anything. Wow. Because the names are there for people, and they gave the addresses and all of that. But again, if you don't have a child,
right,
or you don't have a wife, you don't have children, there are ways you can also ensure that, no matter what happens to you, your family is able to over 5,000 properties. That's huge. And 58 of them belonging to Nigeria. But again, for people to see the names you have, but it's just what it is. Really, the lesson is that look, don't own assets and properties that at least somebody should know. Somebody should know about it. I've seen husbands, for example, that build houses and their wives don't know. And I've seen wives too who own assets and they don't tell their husband.
Some had even got to the extent of getting, they will be living in the same house that the wife built and getting rent money from the husband as tenants, and the wife had been collecting the rent.
Women.
It's not gender.
Men don't do it.
Says who? Like you can give a record of every man or every man. Rather. All right, but another investing those, if it were to be in Nigeria, what would have been the economic benefit?
Well, it depends on in the UK too.
Right.
I have a friend who was planning to do something in Nigeria. What he told me recently was that, look, he had to check between owning the same property at the same value in the UK. It gives him more to buy the property in the UK.
Right.
So what you will find is that most Nigerians who invest in properties in Nigeria now, apart from the rental value that may come from it, really our currency has been devalued. It may not just completely make sense at the time, but again, the self-fulfillment that comes with it is still also a very good investment. You are able to dot your eyes and cross your T's properly. So it's not just buying property in Nigeria that matters now.
Get newspaper. I have a report here. Of course, there's been a debate. There's been a back and forth. Speaking about the immortalization of the late Jᴏɪᴜ L쏘ᴅyɪ, which the Senate has been debating, suspended without confessing that it can't be rewarded. Senator Adams Oshiomhole had opposed any posthumous recognition for the late Professor Jᴏɪᴜ L쏘ᴅyɪ, the former chairman of the defunct presidential election, and he was, talking about, opposing this during the Senate debate on yesterday. He, of course, representing Edo North, accusing L쏘ᴅyɪ and former military ruler, that's Ibrahim Babangida, of record street after Nigeria's return to democracy but failed to do so, and all of that. Of course, recognizing L쏘ᴅyɪ's role in Nigeria's democratic transition. And however, Oshiomhole maintained that, true courage, only senator that opposed that, Senator Yen represent, the democracy well, and blah, 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 back and forth. Even Senator the opposition about honoring the late Professor Fuad.
Put all the blame in Wosu. And I don't know where that thinking of. Tribalistic in their minds, and they felt that it was just wrong for the debate to have gone that way. Now, the issue of courage now, let's even go to the issue of courage. Even though we did not see the closure of that matter, conducted the freest and fairest election in the history of the country, the June 12 election. Yes, I would have been transparency. Now, it was said that, look, at the point when the man that gave him the job was playing games on him, the Maradona himself, that a lot of these politicians still went to celebrate recent deal. That's why you should check the hypocrisy and see where I'm coming from. We all knew that IBB that gave the job to Professor Jᴏɪᴜ L쏘ᴅyɪ was the same person setting up booby traps for him. You know what Yoruba call Afunini Okoji Okperu? If you can translate that, you understand what I'm saying. You are told the man, I've given you everything. Booby traps for the man to fail. And one of the things he did, Lady Mo, that makes him deserving at death of him being immortalized was the fact that at the point when when he was alive, he had given his own explanation as to what happened and what he also did. Yet, with the rest, and so should he have died? The Abiola that died for Nigeria, didn't he see politicians should have faced Abacha and Abiola and died for Nigeria? Abiola himself that laid his life down for the return to democracy. Some people who were said they were supporters of Abiola at that time didn't die to face the maradonic behavior of IBB and his goons to ensure that the election was conducted is to be immortalized or not. His legacy is there to speak for him, whether they immortalize him or not. We have seen people who have destroyed this country that we have immortalized, who are not deserving of anything at all. And so a man that did his best within his capacity should be blamed that what happened in June 12 and because he did not announce the result. Which result was he supposed to announce before? That legacy will continue to speak for him. And it has shown that he was a man of courage who did the right thing within the ambit of the law and his capacity.
Let me quickly take this story as well so that we can step aside. And I also have the standby, but because of our time, we would not be able to play that. From the Vanguard as well, Atiku denied receiving funds from Sanwo-Olu during the 2020 Lagos State Funds, describing the claims as a politically motivated smear campaign, according to a statement that was issued yesterday during the last election. And, he also alleged that the reports were part of a political plot to undermine both Governor Sanwo-Olu and opposition leaders, including Atiku himself. And even the statement also challenged the EFCC. The economic matter was being used as a political tool for just quickly.
Release funds to fund Atiku's election in 2020. They are wonderful, very wonderful human. And you know when they play this script, because if there's going to be, if it is true, as alleged, that Lagos funds through the governor was released to fund anybody's presidential campaign. They're not saying that Lagos funds was released to fund any presidential candidate. But even if it is true, as alleged now, I doubt it would have been for Atiku. But again, the EFCC is already involved. They're like, well, if because the funds were released, you want a particular Chimogu or something. I don't know how that can make any sense to anybody. But let's wait to see whether anything is going to come out of this from the EFCC.
Thank you so much. We have to step aside because of our time, and we'll be back for Mainland Focus. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I still remain Modupe Akinyosoye. Beautiful morning to you once again.